Picture this. You're standing in that never-ending airport security line, shoes half untied, laptop sliding out of your backpack, the TSA agent staring at the X-ray monitor like they're about to discover alien technology, and suddenly they point right at you and say, "Sir, step aside for additional screening." Now you're thinking, wait, what did I do? You didn't bring a giant bottle of shampoo, you didn't forget your boarding pass, and you definitely didn't pack anything weird in your bag. But here's the twist almost nobody talks about. Sometimes the real reason you get pulled aside isn't your bag, your passport, or even random chance. It's your shoes. Yeah, seriously. What if I told you that wearing one specific type of footwear can almost guarantee you'll get that awkward private pat-down search at the airport? Sounds crazy, right? But frequent flyers and security experts know there's a hidden psychology behind airport screening, and once you understand it, you'll start noticing it everywhere. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're gonna look at airport security and your own travel outfit completely differently. So let me ask you something real quick before we dive in. Have you ever been randomly pulled aside for a pat-down at the airport? Drop a comment down below and tell me what you were wearing on your feet that day, because chances are you'll start seeing a pattern. Alright, let's break this down like seasoned travelers do. Airports might feel chaotic, but behind the scenes, security is all about patterns and probabilities. Agents aren't just reacting, they're trained to look for certain signals that could trigger extra screening. And believe it or not, shoes is one of the biggest signals. This all goes back to one infamous moment in aviation history, the attempted bombing by Richard Reed during the shoe bomber incident. Reed tried to detonate explosives inside his shoes on a flight from Paris to Miami. Passengers and crew stopped him, but that one incident changed airport security forever. Suddenly, shoes weren't just fashion anymore, they were potential hiding places. That's why in the US, the Transportation Security Administration started making passengers remove their shoes during screening. But here's where things get interesting. Even though everyone technically goes through the same process, certain shoes trigger more attention than others. Let's start with the biggest culprit, thick-soled sneakers and bulky athletic shoes. If you walk up to security wearing giant running shoes with extra cushioning, dense foam, or chunky soles, the scanner often struggles to clearly see through them. That means security officers may decide the fastest way to resolve uncertainty is a manual inspection, aka the famous pat-down. From their perspective, it's simple risk management. Bulky shoes equal more space where something could theoretically be hidden. And if you're thinking, come on, nobody hides things in shoes anymore, remember that security systems are designed around possibility, not convenience. Then there's the second footwear category that raises eyebrows, steel-toe boots or reinforced work boots. These are super common for construction workers, mechanics, and travelers heading to job sites. But the dense metal caps inside those boots light up the scanners like a Christmas tree. The alarm goes off and suddenly you're explaining to an agent why you're traveling in boots that could survive a zombie apocalypse. It's not suspicious in a criminal sense, but it definitely increases the chance of extra screening. And here's a little insider tip seasoned travelers swear by. If you're flying often, lace-up boots are basically a security magnet. Think about it. Multiple layers, metal eyelets, thick soles, and sometimes hidden compartments. Every one of those features adds complexity to the scanning process, and complexity in airport security usually means, yep, you guessed it, additional screening. Now let's talk about the footwear that surprises people the most, fashion boots and high-top sneakers. You might think stylish travel shoes are harmless, but from a screening perspective, they're tricky. Tall shoes cover your ankles, sometimes your calves, and they often contain stiff materials that make scanners less clear. That means agents sometimes perform a quick pat-down of the ankle area just to verify nothing unusual is there. It's routine, but if you've never experienced it before, it can feel awkward. Now here's where the psychology of airports gets fascinating. Security officers operate under intense pressure. Every bag, every passenger, every beep from a scanner represents a decision point. And because thousands of travelers pass through every hour, they rely heavily on visual cues to prioritize attention. Shoes are one of those cues.
Imagine you're an agent watching the conveyor belt. Someone walks up wearing flip-flops, another traveler steps forward in simple slip-on sneakers, and the third passenger rolls up wearing giant tactical boots with thick rubber soles and metal hardware everywhere. Which one are you going to watch more closely? Exactly, it's not personal, it's probability. But here's the part that really surprises most travelers. Sometimes footwear triggers screening even when it doesn't contain anything suspicious at all. Why? Because modern scanners analyze density differences. If a shoe has unusually dense foam, layered materials, or embedded structures, the image can appear inconsistent. The machine basically says, hey, I can't clearly identify this object, and that uncertainty flags the passenger for additional inspection. And guess what the fastest method is to resolve uncertainty? A quick pat-down. Now you might be wondering, is there a type of footwear that practically avoids all this drama? The answer is yes, and frequent flyers swear by it. Simple, thin-soled slip-on shoes. Think minimalist sneakers, travel loafers, or lightweight walking shoes. These pass through scanners easily, contain minimal dense material, and are quick to remove if needed. That's why you'll notice experienced travelers in airports wearing shoes that look almost boring. It's not about style, it's about efficiency. But here's a little twist many people don't realize. Some airports have started using advanced scanners that allow passengers to keep their shoes on. Systems like the Computed Tomography Security Scanner can create detailed 3D images of objects, which helps security see through complex materials. However, even with that technology, certain footwear still triggers manual checks simply because the system is programmed to err on the side of caution. And that brings us to one of the most misunderstood parts of airport security: random selection. Sometimes you really are chosen randomly, but randomness in security is mixed with behavioral and object-based triggers. Shoes fall into that second category, object-based triggers. If the system sees something unusual in the density or shape of your footwear, the odds of additional screening go up. And here's a little funny thing seasoned travelers joke about. The moment you're running late for a flight is the exact moment you'll be selected for extra screening. It's like airports can smell urgency. But if you've ever been in that situation, you know the awkward dance. Arms out, quick pat down, maybe a swab test for explosive residue. The good news is, these checks usually take less than a minute. The bad news is, they feel like forever when you're holding up the line. Now let's add another interesting layer to this story: airport fashion trends. Over the past decade, travelers have increasingly chosen comfort over style. Joggers, hoodies, and lightweight sneakers dominate airport terminals. But ironically, some of the most comfortable athletic shoes also have the thickest soles, exactly the kind that sometimes trigger scanner curiosity. So the very shoes designed for long travel days might increase your odds of that extra screening moment. Crazy, right? And here's a question I want you to think about. Would you change your travel outfit if it meant getting through security faster? Some travelers absolutely do. Frequent flyers often build an entire airport outfit strategy: simple shoes, minimal metal, easy access pockets, and jackets that slide off quickly. It sounds obsessive, but when you travel often, shaving even 5 minutes off security can make a huge difference, especially in massive airports where security lines feel like theme park rides with no fun ending. But the most important takeaway of this whole story is that wearing certain shoes doesn't mean you'll always get a pat-down. It just means your probability goes up. Think of it like airport math. Thin, simple shoes equal lower attention. Thick, complex shoes equal slightly higher attention. And once you know that, you can decide what matters more, style or speed. Personally, many experienced travelers say the sweet spot is lightweight sneakers with simple soles, comfortable enough for long walks through terminals, but simple enough to breeze through scanners. And honestly, after you've experienced a few surprise pat-downs, you start appreciating that simplicity real quick. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to hear from you. Have airport security ever stopped you because of your shoes? Were you wearing boots, thick sneakers, or something totally unexpected? Drop your story in the comments, because some of the craziest travel moments happen right at the security checkpoint. And if you learned something new today, do me a favor and share this video with someone who's flying soon. You might just save them from an awkward pat-down moment at the airport. Because the next time you step into that security line and an agent glances down at your shoes, you'll know exactly why.